breaking 25 minutes for a 5K is a great milestone. It's challenging, but doable for most.
So if you're hoping for a PB in your local park run or upcoming 5K event, we're here with some tips on how you can go sub 25 for 5K.
Now, a 5K race or event is a great distance to target, really. It's short enough that you could do one every week, should you wish. I mean, maybe you already do with your local park run, but also long enough that it's going to take some effort to complete. And by the time you've completed a few of these, you're likely going to want to start hitting some sort of target. And a nice round number, such as 30 minutes, 25 minutes, or 20 minutes for 5K, seems quite appealing.
Yeah. Well, for this video, we'll assume that you can already run 30 minutes for 5K and that 20 minutes for 5K is a little out of reach. 25 minutes is a nice round number and a great goal. So how do you get there?
Yeah, well, let's take a look at what 25 minutes for 5K looks like. So that equates to 12 kilometers an hour, or 5 minutes per kilometer, or 8 minutes per mile. Well, actually, 8:03 per mile, but obviously we want to play it safe and go sub 25, right?
Yeah, it's a significant milestone though, because somewhere between 6 minutes a K, which is a 30-minute 5K, and 5 minutes a K, which is a 25-minute 5K, most people would argue that you're changing from jogging to running. We actually made a whole video about jogging versus running, and you can decide where the difference is or where the threshold is, but I don't think anyone would assume that under 25 minutes for 5K is jogging.
Yeah, and that is going to take some good training, planning, and obviously good execution. And that is what makes it such a good challenge. So let's discuss what it's going to take.
Breaking 25 minutes is going to take some training. If you've just been doing your weekly park run and hoping that your times are going to keep dropping, I've got some bad news for you. You're going to need to do some additional training. Unless you're young or very talented, you're just not going to get to 25 minutes on a weekly park run. We'd suggest 3 runs a week. You can still do your weekly park run, but then add 2 or 3 more runs during the week to get that fitness. If you do 2 more runs, that gives you a recovery day between each run. If you have only been running 5K on the weekend, don't suddenly do 5K every other day. Start these other runs at 2 or 3 kilometers, and then you can build them up slowly until you're running a fair distance in each run.
Now, forgive us for making assumptions, but we're going to hazard a guess that until now, you have simply been running, heading out the door and going for a run. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to go faster, you need to practice running faster. Now, that doesn't mean you now start heading out and doing every single run at a faster pace or the entire run at a faster pace. What you actually want to be doing is short sections of that run at a faster pace with short recoveries between, what we call intervals or interval training. And that is a far more manageable way of getting your body used to running faster. Right.
You don't want your form to fall apart towards the end of your 5K. You want to be able to run well all the way until the finish line. And to do this, you need to build the strength to cover the whole distance. You can build this strength by doing strength work. This can either be hill running or over distance work. Hill running, as the name suggests, is running up hills. You can do this naturally by simply choosing a hilly route, or you can run hill repeats. That is finding a hill and running up it and down it multiple times to build that strength. When you're doing hill running, you will be running quite slow. It will feel really slow when you're running up hills. But don't worry, you will be building the strength you need to run fast on the flats. Over distance, also, as the name suggests, is running further than the distance you will run on race day. So running 8 or even 10 Ks as a long run will build that strength and endurance that you need to run that 5 Ks fast and hold your form all the way to the end.
Now, once you've built up your fitness and you're feeling ready to give that sub 25-minute 5K a crack, there's a few things that you want to consider for the day. And notice how I say the day, because whilst you may be able to do a 5K every single weekend or a park run every weekend, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be trying to best yourself every weekend. In fact, we would say try and use a few weeks to prepare and then pick out a particular date where you really try and smash it and get that PB.
Yeah, and you want to pick a flat route for this PB, because it may be tempting to choose a hilly route so that you can recover a little bit on the downhills, but the truth is when running, you actually lose more on the uphills than you gain on the downhills. So a flat route is the fastest. Warm up with a short jog and then a few strides at or near race pace about 10 minutes before your event starts.
Yeah, possibly one of the most important things when going after a PB is our pacing. We want to start at or as close to our target goal pace. So for a sub 25-minute 5K, we want to be targeting 4:55 to 4:57 per kilometre. And we want to start at that pace and stay at that pace throughout. One of the traps that many of us fall into, myself included, is starting out a bit fast because it feels good, right? And we think, oh, we're going to get a bit of a buffer in the bag for the second half of the event. In reality, what often ends up happening is we end up tiring far more in that second half because we're so exhausted and end up losing far more time. So a far better tact is to go for an evenly paced race.
That's right, how you pace yourself is up to you. These days, it's quite easy to use a GPS watch. That's going to give you live and accurate pacing. But remember, even with the GPS watch, there will be some fluctuations in your pace as you go in. You can also use a heart rate monitor to set an upper limit. Make sure you don't start out too fast. Just set an upper limit, and if your watch starts beeping at you, you can ease right up. Also, don't worry about other runners around you, even if they've promised that they're also going for a sub 25. Rather, run your own race, do it at your own pace, and let other runners pull ahead or drop behind, depending on their race, and you stick to your own race plan.
Yeah, we also have hydration and nutrition to consider as well. Now, of course, for a 5K, and well, we're going after a sub 25-minute 5K, pretty speedy, we're probably not going to need to consider nutrition and hydration too much, unless, of course, it's a really warm day. You may want to consider taking on fluid on course. We want to consider more actually our nutrition and hydration before the race. So make sure we're not having too big a meal directly before the event, and maybe having a slightly smaller breakfast on the day of the event. In terms of hydration, we actually want to be making sure that we're staying on top of hydration the days leading up to the event, and then on the morning or the day of, just topping up those levels rather than guggling down a massive bottle of water on the start line.
Good luck for your first attempt at going under 25 minutes for 5Ks. We hope it goes well and you hit that barrier, and hopefully soon you'll be clicking on our video on how to go sub 20 for 5K.
Oh, imagine that. Well, do make sure you let us know how you get on in the comment section down below. And don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for that sub 20-minute 5K video